All right.
Can I talk about the differences? So Bush versus Gore, what happened? The Supreme Court ruled and Gore conceded. He stopped saying this election was stolen. He stopped saying I won.
That was Supreme Court.
Yes.
Did Gore refuse to certify the vote? I don't remember. Did he do that?
The vote was certified.
He didn't have an alternate slate of electors?
Exactly.
Okay.
So
After Trump wanted a Supreme Court hearing. Trump wanted the same thing.
62 cases were brought before judges. And you said earlier none of them were based on evidence. 6 of them were based on standing. 6 out of the 62.
They wouldn't even hear it. I saw
Do you know how many of them were Trump-appointed judges that made those rulings? 17.
So six of them. Let me finish here. 6 of them were based on standing. 4 of those that were based on standing, the judge also analyzed the merits and said there was no evidence or insufficient evidence. So only 2 of them, and that was Texas versus Pennsylvania and Gomert versus Pence. Do you know what those 2 cases were?
No,
Texas
I know what the cases are.
Texas tried suing.
No, I agree with you. Biden says inflation's fine right now. I agree with him.
Let me finish. Texas tried suing Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, several other states, saying that the election was stolen. And the judge said, no, Texas can't sue these other states. Somebody in that state who was affected had to sue them. Now, the other case was Gomert versus Pence. He challenged the Electoral Counts Act of 1807, saying that Pence could overturn the election. He said that Pence
I think that's wrong. I agree with you. I think that was a wrong legal theory.
Those are only 2 that were based on standing.
No, I agree with you on that. So, but what I'm
saying, Democrats trying to take away my Democrat.
Yeah. Let's stay back. All right, guys, back to topic. Darren.
Brian has an answer.
So is it a coup? That's the question.
Yeah, that's
so. I think it can be debated.
Or an attempted coup. An attempted coup.
Definitely, I would say it's an attempted coup. And a federal
coup is flooding the border with aliens.
Alex, hold.
District Judge, U.S. District Judge David Carter actually evaluated the Trump-Eastman scheme. And he said...
All right, we got some big news. I'm not interrupting you.
No. Not that yet. But we had Glenn. Glenn's going to speak after you were...
I'm sorry. I'll shut up now.
So the federal judge, U.S. District Judge David Carter, evaluated the Trump-Eastman scheme.
Another lawyer.
Which we can go into later. But basically, he said that it was, quote, a coup in search of a legal theory. This is a federal judge. So a judge...
We have a CIA coup over America. Hey, the CIA killed Kennedy?
Judges aren't part of the CIA.
Oh, my God.
Are they? I don't think so.
Is that a new theory of yours?
No, it's not a new theory of mine. No, the whole thing.
I think that there was federal involvement here, or if there was, that what the extent of it was on January 6th.
I think that there were probably federal agents undercover. Do I think that federal agents committed crimes and led people into the Capitol building? Absolutely not. And there hasn't been any case brought by any of these 700 convicts. None of them brought that up in court. Because
they're being prosecuted in the District of Columbia.
Because there's no evidence of it.
No, I know the lawyers.
Absolutely no evidence of it.
They won't let them put defenses on. Let me tell you something. Alex, they said Ray Epps was a hero and did nothing wrong. Now they finally indicted him because they know it's a weak spot in their operation. They're only asking for 6 months.
75 of the people arrested within the Capitol building had weapons.
Let's we have a couple of clips.
Knives and stuff. The knaves have weapons and disarm them immediately.
How about Guy Reffitt? What is he, 3%er or 3%?
Does he have nuclear weapons like Biden? He had
a handgun on the stairs of the Capitol building.
He had a handgun.
As he was encouraging people to...
That's worse than Pearl Harbor.
As he was saying, telling people to go into the Capitol, as he was saying he wants to drag Nancy Pelosi out of the Capitol and hopes her head hits every stair on the way out.
Did he say go into the Capitol like Ray Epps?
Let me just finish my point before you cut me off. He wanted to drag Nancy Pelosi out and let her head hit every stair on the way out. He said,
and a guy pooped on Pelosi.
Finish, Alex.
So
Alex,
we don't blame him.
Yeah, let Ed finish this point because we're going to go to Darren really quick.
He said on his way to the Capitol building that they're going to take the Capitol and insert their own government.
Yeah, so
and he had a
out of a
handgun
billion
on the
people,
steps
a
of
few
the Capitol
lunatics were there, and you call it like Martians invading and blowing the earth up. Like Glenn Ringwald said.
His intention wasn't an insurrection.
Yeah.
Are you saying his intention wasn't an insurrection? He's saying he's going to drag Nancy Pelosi out. He's saying...
And he wasn't under Trump's command.
All right.
Trump didn't tell him. Trump said go peacefully.
Alex, can I just finish and you can respond?
Yes, you can finish your point, and then we're going to go to Darren.
Can we use a mute button or something on Alex?
No, I'm not going to be run over.
So he was on his way to the Capitol building saying, we're going to take the Capitol and install our own government. He had a handgun. In his handgun on the stairs of the Capitol, saying he's going to drag Nancy Pelosi and Mitch McConnell out. But you don't have a problem with that.
He didn't use a gun.
What do you think, Darren?
Because he didn't use a gun because he didn't have the opportunity to shoot Nancy Pelosi or Mike Pence.
Did he
That's okay. He didn't have access to them.
I didn't say it was okay.
Thankfully, the Capitol Police. Thankfully, the Capitol
What about the Q shaman? What about the Q shaman they let in?
The Capitol Police.
All right, okay.
Oh my God, a guy had a gun. We martial law. All the Americans are guilty. You can't vote for Trump now. A guy had a gun.
I've been asked by you guys think it was an insurrection?
So I personally believe it was an insurrection, and I base that on the fact that 20 court decisions called it an insurrection, and the fact that there was a bill passed in the Senate that called them a mob of insurrectionists. I think the bill passed, or it was in the House of Representatives, 406 to 21. That was a statute to award the police officers medals, and it referred to these individuals as insurrectionists. So, I mean, I think the term can be subjective. I think, people can say nobody was charged with violating Section 2383 of Title 18, which is insurrection and rebellion statute. And nobody was, right? But I don't think that defines whether the event was an insurrection. When I say insurrection, I don't mean everybody there was partaking in insurrection. There are people who were peaceful. The people who walked into the Capitol and did nothing, I don't think that they were insurrectionists. I think they violated the law, but I don't think they were partaking in insurrection. I do think the Proud Boys were partaking in insurrection. Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
So do you think the Confederates during the Civil War were partaking in insurrection?
I mean, in retrospect, because I wasn't alive then, I think the South got manipulated into that. I thought there was real issues between the North and South. The abolitionists, had a good point, and slavery needed to end. But it was really about the North.
So just to be clear, the person that's defending the J6 riders won't say that the Confederate states were engaged in insurrection.
No, that's not what I see. Here's what happens.
Yes or no?
Easy question.
No, hold on. That's not true.
That's what it sounded like you said. You can correct the record. So do you think they were engaged in insurrection?
I was trying to talk, and the thing I said was, I think the South was wrong, and then you just said that I support what the South did. No.
I didn't say you supported that. I said that you said that they weren't engaged in insurrection. Do you think the Confederate states were engaged in insurrection?
Was that because there were rebellions during Reconstruction at the end of the Civil War, and they were saying if you lead an uprising against the Northern occupation of the South, you're precluded from running from office because they were worried about Southerners getting office again, like Jefferson. No, I do not support the Civil War or slavery, and I'm not a, quote, Confederate.
But was it an insurrection? That's my question is, was it an insurrection? Yes or no?
Yes, if you were, no. The law, yes, I think that it was a civil war, and you could say an insurrection.
Okay, so is it insurrection? Did anybody get charged with insurrection rebellion?
What I'm saying is,
with violating statute. Did anybody get charged?
Listening.
No, I'm asking you. You just said it was insurrection. Did anybody get charged with violating the insurrection and rebellion statute?
Yes, people did.
No, because there was no statute there. That's my point.
No,
you don't need to. You don't need to violate that statute in order to be partaking in insurrection, because the Civil War was an insurrection, and nobody got charged with violating that. No, that's what I'm saying. That's my point, Alex. You're changing the subject because you know it's correct.
Even the Democratic Party lawyers on CNN say you have to be convicted under the 14th Amendment of this before you can be. You can't just.
You don't get convicted under the 14th Amendment. You get convicted under Section 2383 of Title 18.
Well, let's slow down a little.
So here, let me finish what my point.
Yeah, Ed, do that, and then I want to go to Glenn for a second.
So my point is that two things: the Civil War was an insurrection. I think it's hard to argue that. Nobody got charged with a crime of violating the Insurrection and Rebellion Statute 2383. What about 1992, the LA riots? George Herbert Walker Bush, he invoked the Insurrection Act. 12,000 people were arrested. 63 people were killed. hundreds were injured. Was that an insurrection? What do you guys think?
Yeah, no, it's a declaration of federal martial law.
But was it an insurrection? Because nobody there was charged with violating. Nobody there was charged with violating Section 2383, the Insurrection and Rebellion statute. But we still consider that an insurrection, right?
I mean, said in the middle of a speech, off a teleprompter, "Go be peaceful." That's what he said.
Didn't Trump get back to the what was it, like 1:30?
He also said, "Fight like hell."
Yeah,
if
why
we
didn't
don't
you
fight
play
like
those
hell,
clips?
if we don't fight like hell, we're not going to have a country. What did Rudy Giuliani say? He said, "Let's have trial by combat."
Yeah. That's a legal term. Maxine Waters said, "Go attack Republicans in restaurants,
that's
grocery stores."
So why don't
with her it wasn't hyperbole?
Why don't
Trump
we
never
ask?
said Trump never supported political violence. Trump never told people to be goons. The left would burn down half the country. Everybody knows that. Everybody knows it's Biden's erased the border. Everybody knows all this. You're sitting there claiming this was. Do you agree? This was big as Pearl Harbor.
What are you comparing it? As big as Pearl Harbor in what way?
3,000 died in Pearl Harbor.
People dead? No. Maybe a blemish on our democracy? I'd say it was very close.
Let me ask you this. If they bring in, which they've done, 10 million illegal aliens the last 3 years, and then that gives them, with the congressional seats in the census, more Democrat seats in the Congress, is that
undocumented aliens, undocumented immigrants are not voting.
They are counted.
No, they are not.
They're counted in the census.
But they're not voting.
They're counted in the census.
They're not voting.
So then they get more Democrat
Can
districts.
we backtrack really fast?
Oh, my God.
So let's backtrack.
Ladies and gentlemen, they're already stealing elections with the illegals. They get more congressional,
January 6th.
They get more congressional districts.
Yeah, I do
Can we
want to
go back to January 6th? Okay, so you play those clips.
Oh, you always want to get off of it because it wasn't an insurrection.
I came here to debate
and then
January 6th,
as soon as I bring
not
up the
immigration.
real insurrection, you can't handle it.
I'm not here to debate immigration.
Yeah, talk to me, Brian.
Okay, yeah, so why don't we ask the Oath Keepers, the 3%ers, the Proud Boys, the ones who were actually indicted and convicted of seditious conspiracy, why they did it? And
well, you know, they told us.
No, yeah, they did tell us.
They did tell us. In both the kangaroo trials. Let
Brian finish.
And then you can come back at me.
All right.
Joe Biggs, he said, "I did it because this is where Trump wanted me. He wanted me to do this." Stuart Rhodes, Oath Keepers, same thing. "I did it for Trump." Multiple Proud Boys and Oath Keepers, they all said, "I was here because of Trump. I went into the Capitol. I took the Capitol because that's what Trump wanted." So was Trump responsible? Ask them. Ask the people that are serving 20 years in prison for seditious conspiracy.
I'd like to respond to that now. I know Stuart Rhodes well. I know Joe Biggs well. He used to work here. And they have never said Trump told them to go into the Capitol. They have never said they did it because he asked them to. That is not a true statement.
That is a true statement. I have their quotes right here.
Joe Biggs shook a fence. Stuart Rhodes said he never told anybody to go in the Capitol and never went in the Capitol. And you just said they said that Trump told them.
Multiple Proud Boys said they were in the Capitol because that's what Trump wanted.
You're reading a Jack Smith federal filing? Next we'll tell me the cheese.
Jack Smith didn't indict the Proud Boys.
They have messages between the group. They have the actual
I know all about it.
Yes, so they have them. So are you saying these are fabricated?
That is the
Obama
issue.
had alternate electors.
JFK.
No, they didn't.
JFK's story was completely different. I can explain that if you want.
Yeah, please do.
Okay. Right.
Yeah. So in 1960. So in 1960, JFK and Nixon, there was a dispute because there was a recount. I think JFK ended up winning by like 150 votes. At the two states decided to certify two sets of electors. Decided to choose two different slates of electors.
Depending on how it went.
But they were certified by the states.
They were in the middle of a recount. They were in the middle of a recount.
Well, Trump tried to get it certified.
None was certified yet. Neither state was.
What happened with Trump was that Trump tried to get the states to certify a second slate of electors based off of conspiracy theory crap that the election was stolen. Hold on.
They did.
He took it to court. 62 cases.
That's not
30
true.
cases were looked at on merit.
So are they taking him off the ballot now?
That's a separate.
That's a separate.
Take him off the ballot is a separate thing.
Okay, so is the not purest form of election theft is taking someone off the ballot?
Alex, let's get back to the 1962 really fast. So what happened was that they did a recount, and Kennedy ended up winning by, I think, 150 votes, and they chose the Kennedy electors. They certified the Kennedy electors, and Kennedy ended up winning that state.
And that's what Trump said.
What Trump did was Trump tried to get the states to certify an alternate slate of electors. They refused because the court said there's no there. And then when that didn't go through, Trump decided to get his own slate of electors above the states that were not certified and tried to use that to force Mike Pence to say that Joe Biden didn't win these electoral votes.
We're talking. Okay, so Alex, so you're claiming that this is staged. You're claiming the FBI was behind it. In 2019, you
like the Gulf of Tonkin.
Huh? No. You specifically said, I almost had like a form of psychosis where I thought everything was staged. So do you still have that psychosis?
Well, I said almost a form.
So do you almost still have that form of psychosis?
You asked the question. Let me quote it for you. That's out of a larger context about when you're lied to.
In a court deposition.
You're not. I said a larger context of deposition.
About Sandy Hook.
Which is a larger.
Because you said you called Sandy Hook's a hoax, and you said it was fake because of this.
Sure. So you let me talk now?
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. So I said a larger context, which is a larger 5 hours, 8 hour deposition, right? Okay. So I just told the truth. I said a larger context. I'm explaining that the public's been lied to so much, there's a major loss in confidence where people then don't believe anything they're told, and that's dangerous.
That's not what you said. That's not the context you said.
That's actually.
That's not the context you said it.
I know what I said.
But I read it. I read the deposition.
Oh, so put the full thing out.
I don't have it with me, but I read it.
The point is, stop.
Somebody Google it.
You're scared to let me talk?
No, go ahead.
So that's a whole nother PR firm thing, things out of context to blow that stuff up. All that
PR firm is telling you what you say in court under oath?
You're not.
We got to let Alex finish the short question, and then we're going to go back to the user's question.
I mean, Madeleine Albright told Leslie Stahl of 60 Minutes, I ordered...
The question is, the New York Times acknowledged that there were FBI informants in the Capitol on January 6th, and then they give a link to the New York Times article. Given the agency's history of entrapment, is it a stretch that some agents may have provoked the riot? And then there's a follow-up question. Why was law enforcement so ill prepared for the insurrection, in quotes, despite the presence of informants? So the first part of the question is it a stretch that some agents may have provoked the riot?
So informants are something the FBI has been using for years, decades. Is it illegal? No. They can do it as long as they do it within the legal means. If an informant is in the Capitol breaking the law, that doesn't mean that the FBI is behind it. Informants are also people who live their lives. Like, I could be an informant for FBI. I could go and murder somebody. That doesn't mean the FBI had me murder that person. So I think there's a lot of misinformation there that gets conflated with facts.
Well, and number two, do I think it's possible that an FBI agent could have done that? Sure, anything's possible, but put out the evidence. There isn't evidence of this. The whole Ray Epps thing, show us the evidence that he actually works for the FBI.
He orchestrated it. He just said I orchestrated it. You're right.
I robbed the bank. Come arrest me. Should I get arrested? I just said I robbed the bank.
You're right. He said orchestrated. You're right.
Did Ray Epps say that he was an FBI agent? You guys are just coming to that conclusion.
We're not saying he works for them. Probably.
Random dots.
If I had to guess, I'd say Southern Poverty Law Center. If they're going to string all these videos out.
So here's the thing. Like Brian said, there's probably some informants on the ground. I think one of the Proud Boys, one of the ladies in the Proud Boy was an informant. So she was on the ground. She didn't go into the Capitol building, I don't believe. The problem is with what Alex does is he pushes these conspiracy theories, these ideas that illegal aliens were voting. There's no evidence of that.
I think the illegal alien voting thing is what's happening is they're coming in and then they're being counted in the census, which then adds more electoral votes to.
Okay.
It gives more congressional districts.
That's fair. That might be happening. I haven't researched that.
There are indictments all over the country.
They're not voting.
Indictments of illegals everywhere voting. Got them again. Hit them hard. Hit them hard.
They're not voting.
They're not
Alex,
voting.
That's a conspiracy theory.
Like two people, maybe
no, a
five?
bunch of cities have passed laws where illegal aliens can vote.
No, they haven't.
No,
not in the federal elections.
No, but the illegals are voting in elections though.
Not in the federal ones. So I know that some cities try to have them voting in like local matters. I don't know how many of those are successful.
Illegal aliens shouldn't be voting, okay? But they're not. They're not voting in federal elections.
Get 'em.
I don't know
rally the deep state saying Trump's going to persecute us and arrest us if we don't stop him because they've committed all these crimes.
So I mean, fact is the Supreme Court's looking at it. They actually decided to take the case. So it doesn't matter what any of us think. The Supreme Court's going to rule on it. And I think, whatever they decide is what we're going to live with.
Let me ask this. What happens if Trump gets reelected?
What do you mean what happens?
Well, what do you think? They've still got criminal investigations, criminal trials.
Oh, so you mean if he gets reelected before being sentenced, if he is convicted?
Yeah.
I think he just takes over being president. He'll pardon himself or give the presidency.
And I don't. He didn't persecute his political opposition when he was in. I don't think he's going to try to do that.
He asked Barr to investigate Hillary. I mean,
quite the opposite. Trump's own bureaucracies were undermining him.
Well,
it's far from him using the bureaucracies to go after others. His own bureaucracies were circumventing his own president.
Well, that happened with Biden as well, wasn't it?
But everyone can see
Comey doing the investigation on Hillary's
establishments
emails.
after Trump.
No?
Yeah, Hillary's emails.
Yeah, Hillary's emails was under Biden, right?
What about the Hunter Biden investigation?
There's no acknowledgement there? Yeah.
Hunter Biden investigation. That's Biden's DOJ.
Hunter Biden, he was convicted on the grind.
And that's because the Democrats want him to step down for Newsom.
Oh my God, there's a reason why. Yeah,
the debate.
There's always.
So now the Democrats don't want Biden to step down. That's admitted.
There's an explanation
Who
for
are
everything.
the Democrats?
The debate continues.
No, the dominant Democratic Party wants Biden to step down. It's been all over the news, and they're putting pressure on him to do it. You're saying that's made up?
He's not going to step down. That's not.
How does he step down? Because you still need to have a primary.
And it's past the deadline.
He's frozen out the other candidates in his primary.
The deadline has passed. So if he was to step down right now, Harris would likely be who the nominee would be.
Well,
it's too late for Newsom. Like he'd miss out on several.
This world we need evidence, Alex. I'm sorry.
Oh, evidence. Oh,
I know. Yeah, evidence from evidence. Yeah.
So
Did 2 Men Have a Baby?
Isn't there a sitcom called 2 Men and a Baby?
Yeah, that's the whole point.
It's 3 Men, and it was a great movie.
Oh shit! I'm sorry, my bad.
No, but I mean, we're sitting here like, guys, they said it was worse than Pearl Harbor and 9/11. Like Glenn says,
Alex, you're fighting your demons up here. None of us are saying that.
Alex, you pointed out, that the votes, they went up way at night. They went up way high. Trump was winning, and then all of a sudden, Biden pulled ahead at like 1 a.m.
Red Mirage.
Yeah. So, but do you understand that the media basically told the American public that this is what happens basically every election?
Yeah, they pre-programmed it, Red Mirage.
No. Do you understand?
No, it doesn't happen every election.
Do you understand why that happened?
No, I'm not smart enough to understand. The trucks, when they shut down the polling places, and the trucks pulled in, and they blocked the windows out and ran the same ballots over and over again.
Let me explain it to you. Donald Trump, for months before the election, he kept saying mail-in ballots are rigged. Don't vote by mail. So do you think that Republicans are going to vote by mail if Trump says not to? So Republicans...
But that's chicken and the egg. Let me finish.
Let me finish, and then you can. Republicans didn't vote by mail because Trump said, it's not safe. Democrats voted by mail. Mail-in votes were counted at the tail end of the vote count, as they always are. So what happens? So Trump pulls ahead early in the night, just like everybody said was going to happen if you were paying attention. They start counting the mail-in votes. Biden's moving up. They start counting more mail-in votes in these states that are in the big cities, which are primarily Democrats. What happens? Biden pulls way ahead in the big cities, just like everybody that was paying attention
would have known. Can I talk? That's why they had to all over block the windows out, kick everybody out, claim water mains broke. Let me talk. And then magically on the surveillance cameras, just keep loading the machines over and over again. But you're right.
You actually watch
let's stop. You're right. No, I agree with you. Trump actually lost. So why are you so scared to let him run again?
I'm not scared to let him run.
So you support him being on the ballot?
I support whatever the Supreme Court says because I think they should define what insurrection is. I think that's fair. I'm not saying I'm on either side. But let's go back to the pulling out votes or tabulating votes multiple times. Did you actually watch more than the 14-second clip that Giuliani put out there where they purportedly pulled out ballots from under the table?
Let me ask you a question.
No.
Why in Michigan and Georgia did they block the windows?
No.
Why?
I don't know why. Ask them.
Why did they say a water main broke? They later admitted it didn't.
These all went to court. All these were had their day in court. And
let me stop you. Let me stop you. Because you guys, hold on, way worse than Joe Biggs or Stuart Rhodes. I mean, he's literally, we're Stuart Rhodes saying invade the Capitol. We're Stuart Rhodes attacking people or ramming signs. Ray Epps did that.
Stuart Rhodes literally said that if Trump doesn't impose the Insurrection Act, that we need an insurrection. And he said, storm the Capitol. And he went into the Capitol and he hurt police officers.
Didn't he?
He did not go to the Capitol.
Call for people
That
to...
is a,
Joe Biggs did. Joe Biggs went into the Capitol.
you just said
Joe Biggs or Stuart Rhodes. Either Joe Biggs or Stuart Rhodes.
Stuart Rhodes did not do that.
No, one of them, I forget which one it
Joe
was.
Biggs.
He said that...
Yeah, Joe Biggs.
No, you don't even know what I'm going to say.
He deserves a year in jail. He doesn't deserve...
You don't know what I'm going to say, though. One of them called for people to defend the White House and shoot to kill the National Guard or any other authorities.
Let me just answer really quickly.
By the way, let me say something. Stuart
House.
Rhodes did say that on air, and I told him he was wrong to his face. So I'm going to be honest.
Wait a second. One thing.
Before it happened, he did say if Trump calls us out for a civil war, and I was like, dude, I'm not for this on air.
One thing.
You're right. That's true.
So Jacob Chansley got 4 years, but he served, I think, a year and a half. But I do want to go back. So Stuart Rhodes.
For nonviolent.
Stuart Rose.
There are nonviolent crimes.
Biggs, Stuart Rose, and Enrique Tarrio. They were sentenced to some of the harshest sentences out of all the January 6ers. Who was the judge? It was a Trump-appointed judge, Timothy Kelly. Now, if you look at the worst convictions, the ones that received the largest sentences, 80% of them were actually under the sentencing guidelines. 80%. These people didn't receive sentences that were any more harsh than anybody else in other crimes. And these were people sentenced from a Trump judge, a Trump-appointed judge. So you're all saying that the courts are rigged against conservatives or Trump supporters. But these are Trump judges. Many of these were Trump judges that actually not charge these people, but sentence these people. I can say what he's saying. He's saying that it was brought by a Democratic institution, but they needed Republicans.
Not just a Democrat institution; it's a notorious lawfare outfit.
Right, but how many Democratic states said, okay, he can stay on the ballot? So don't just say like every Democrat just wants you to throw Trump off the ballot.
You're right. The Democrats don't want him off the ballot.
If you were to ask me, I would say let the voters decide. Like I honestly,
I think other candidates would have a better shot than Trump to beat Biden. I honestly do.
Well, who?
I think Nikki Haley. If there's no way she would get the nomination.
World War III bird brain.
I think she would defeat Biden. I really do.
With him saying a particular thing.
Did Joe Biden try to get the votes certified for Hillary Clinton? Did Hillary Clinton try to force Joe Biden in 2016 to certify the electoral votes?
No, because they knew the landslide was so big.
The Biden had a pretty big landslide.
Was it Biden's landslide? Wait, hold on. What do you mean the landslide was so big? Didn't Hillary win the popular vote?
Hillary won the popular vote.
And Biden won by more.
No, the landslide.
The narrative collapsed right before our eyes.
So Trump didn't win the 2016 election. Guard a month before.
No, he didn't. He mentioned it 2 days before. Why didn't he call him in that night? Why didn't he call him in? Look, there's Antifa. Call in the National Guard. He would have ended it in 20 minutes.
So that's another myth that he had the National Guard on standby. Kash Patel said that.
No, he asked for it.
Let me finish. Kash Patel said that Trump asked for it. That's the source of that. Kash Patel and Donald Trump, after the fact, claimed that they had the National Guard on standby. Neither of them testified to that under oath. Do you know who did? The Secretary of State,
Department of Defense.
Secretary of Defense, Christopher Miller, testified under
Trump
oath.
Didn't have it on standby. He asked for it and was refused by Milley. I can watch the post up.
He was refused. No, Milley specifically said that's not true. Under oath.
Oh, Milley.
Yes.
Was that in between his phone calls to Xi Jinping?
The Secretary of Defense, the man who he would have to call in the National Guard, the Secretary of Defense specifically said under oath that Trump never did that. Under oath. Did Trump or
Under oath, they tell people 2 men can have a baby. Can two men have a baby?
So what? Why do you
Can
think,
2 men have a baby?
I thought this was January 6th.
No, stop.
Yeah,
another day.
Alex, going under oath.
Alex, let me ask you a question. You're criticizing me for quoting somebody under oath. What is your source? If I'm quoting somebody that said something under the penalty of perjury. Your source is, you just know it? That Donald Trump said it to the public?
No, we're live on air here, just like when this guy said that, oh, you're claiming this was done. You don't have proof. Those clips are all there. Everyone's going to pull those up. They're going to see them.
So there's clips of Donald Trump calling in the National Guard?
No, I'm talking about the last point.
No, you didn't answer my question.
No, I remember the articles.
Can you just answer my question?
You're not listening.
Ed,
You want my answer?
Yeah, I do.
When Trump got firebombed and the White House got attacked, he called for the National Guard, and Milley said, I'll resign if he doesn't. He then asked the head jurisdiction, it was actually General Flynn's brother, for 10,000 troops, and it was in the news. Anybody? I don't have a computer in front of me.
Was on January 6th. January 6th.
No, he asked 2 weeks before that they wanted.
It wasn't in the news.
Okay, well, boom, gotcha. Everybody get it.
Show it. Go ahead.
I'm on air right now.
He requested
I don't have a computer. Hold on.
Tell me what you're telling me.
You're just hoping. Listen, they're going to get you.
Tell me what you're telling me. That he requested 10,000 troops.
Watch X tomorrow. Listen to me carefully. Watch X tomorrow.
Okay. And you're gonna it's gonna be
it'll
General
have 5
Flynn
million
making this
views,
claim?
and it'll be you, and it'll be all the news articles where Milley says he'll resign if Trump's went National Guard, and then they did it again, and then General Flynn's
that wasn't
brother.
for January 5th. That was the Washington
I know.
protest.
That's where it begins, and he asked again, and they also, it's all there.
Okay, but you're making the claim that Trump had.
No, you say show it. I'm here.
No,
I'm
Why
here.
would Trump care if
But you
Milley would
didn't
resign if
show
they're all
it.
the deep state? If they're all part of the swamp, why wouldn't he just do it anyway if that's what's right? Trump is the ultimate
what's
authority
gonna
of deploying the
happen is
national.
people
You're
are
not going to
gonna-
answer that question
Here's what's
either.
going to happen, Dougherty. What's going
Better argument.
So I just
Oklahoma
want to get my
City, they
point
indicted
in
federal
really
informants.
fast. I haven't been able to get my point in. So you're saying that Ray Epps is a federal agent.
Well, I didn't say that. I said he was
maybe
acting on behalf of a
He's
third
an
party. He
operative
was an
somebody.
inauthentic actor on January
even though there's
6th.
no evidence of this, and then you're saying he's turning around and he's suing Fox News for defamation, which is going to open up all sorts of cans of worms with discovery that he's going to have to provide legally in front of a court. You think that if he was a federal agent, he'd be suing Fox News for
They
defamation?
know they control the jurisdiction, but he did say in a text message that day during it, I orchestrated the attack.
You think he's going to sue for defamation?
Respond to
He's
that.
going to sue for
He was
defamation
bragging to his nephew that asked him if he was there.
And he said, I
He
orchestrated
said,
it.
I
to
orchestrated
his
it.
nephew.
To his nephew.
Well,
Did
it's a
he
nephew.
have
Why
text messages?
why would a federal agent text such incriminating evidence to his nephew?
Why wasn't he indicted before? We made him the centerpiece. They had
was
congressional
indicted.
hearings. He was
Wait.
all over the news.
There's
They were forced to
1,200
do it thanks to Tucker Carlson and Professor Darren Beatty's work.
Wait.
Haven't talked to them
why,
yet.
why is it that when BLM pro rioters, I guess you could say, aren't arrested as much as you want? Like, you say the January 6ers were arrested at a much higher rate than the rioters.
That's true.
Okay. How come you don't say
And
that?
much more property damage as a result of
So
BLM.
here's the thing, though. Why don't you accuse those who aren't prosecuted for those riots of being federal agents?
Well, in some cases they probably are, but at that scale, it's
Maybe
hard
they just have more there. How do you know?
No.
Like, if you want to go conspiracy theory, I mean, let's touch all the bases.
So far
including
away
the
from
first
point,
World
though.
Trade Center bombing, by the way, which is
Alex, just one really quick thing. You said Ray Epps was one of the last to be charged. He isn't the last to be charged. There's 1,200 people that have been charged. 1,250, I believe.
Who said he's the last to be charged?
Alex said they waited 3 years.
Yeah, they waited 3 years. That's
do you
significant.
realize that they're still indicting people and they expect that they're probably going to...
They had puff pieces. He was on ABC.
Let me finish my point, Alex.
Oh, my God.
So
Go ahead.
do you realize that they're still indicting people? There's likely going to be hundreds of people still indicted. Ray Epps didn't get any less a sentence than anybody else that did anything like him.
YouTube.com/Destiny. Yeah, check me out.
What about you, Bryson?
I'm on X, Krassenstein. I do a lot of posts. I guess you can't call them tweets anymore, about politics. I try to hear out both sides. Alex, I still read your post.
Thank you.
Might not agree with them, but I try to hear out both sides. Give me feedback. I like countering points. I like listening.
No, I want to congratulate everybody for being here. This has been a great debate.
Yeah. Ed, and you on as well?
Yeah, pretty much everything Brian said.
Yeah, it
Except
has been
Ed
a great.
Krassen.
It has been spectacular. High energy, fast paced. It's intense. The first time I've ever moderated a debate with 5 people and then somebody on coming in digital, which has its own.
And if you want to see more of this, the great folks at Zero Hedge, like you said, with their subscription service, they want to do more of this. So this is the future. People want this.
Zero Hedge debates all the way. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for coming. Again, zerohedge.com. Thanks for putting this on to everyone at Zero Hedge and everyone in the audience. We love you. I love you. We will see you later.